It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week I went back to the CD underworld. And let me tell you, I wouldn't want to live there, bro. It is absolute craziness. It's a world I would not want to be in. And I'm going to get into that. But first, couple things. I want to give a big shout out to LA, Los Angeles. Got some plays over in LA this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Toraba, and Los Angeles. I heard the film and TV production has dipped quite a bit. And that's unfortunate because you are the space and place where movie magic happens. And I hope you're able to keep that. We'll see what happens next year. We'll be able to bring that back. We'll see what happens. So thanks for listening. I appreciate your gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the Train This Daily mug. Oh, we got a coffee mug over the Existing Fiction Sales store that has a brain on it. And it says Train This Daily. Now, I own this mug myself and drink coffee at it quite a bit. It just reminds me to train my mind. Now, if you've heard these podcasts before, I believe it's important to train your mind, like train your body, and do it daily. And I suggest you do too. It will help you have a little bit fuller, happier life. So if you wanted the mug, I'll put the link below. Check it out. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I saw the show MobLand again. It is so crazy what's been happening. The characters just keep spiraling deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and just craziness, bro. Like I said at the jump, this is not a life I would want to live at all. Just too much pressure that I don't want to deal with. I'm just not built for that. I have no desire to do that. But if it's in that, man, I'm sorry you're going through it because it's super, super pressure, looks like. So this week, they continue the story to get to the bottom of the grandson that was murked, unfortunately, and they're further trying to tease it out. Now, that's what's going on, but what I want to do is get into something specifically I saw on the show this week. So in the episode, Harry and Kevin are having a conversation about some things that happened to them in the past when they were young, and then Harry tells them some things, and Kevin's like, I don't remember all that. I don't even know that. I don't remember. And so later in the episode, it is revealed he does remember. And it's a traumatic thing that happened to the young man. And he's just, he's thinking about it and he looks so sad. He's crying because something major traumatic did happen to this individual, right? Really, really bad, right? And he's recalling it. And so that did remind me of myself a bit. I'm not in that world. I don't play in that world of what they do. That's not a lifestyle I've ever been in. I'm just a podcaster. I've had jobs and just living in a regular world. I've never dealt in that world. But what I can relate to is that we've all had some kind of trauma. And when you're an adult, an older person, sometimes you reflect back on that. Sometimes just things that popped up. This past couple weeks, I did think about things in the past that kind of did make me feel a certain type of way. So thinking about that in the show, they didn't show what Kevin's going to do if he's going to be affected at all in it. So they kind of ended the show a little bit after that. But, going forward, will he do something because of that? I don't know. He may or may not. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. But in my life, in my world, when I ponder those past traumas from the past, I just, sit with it. Remember, and just kind of move forward, right? Now, some people might want to take action based on that, be destructive or whatever, and that's not recommended whatsoever. Now, I know trauma can be painful and all that, but you don't want to take an action based on prior things that happened to you that could put you in a bad predicament now, right? You say relax, chill, process in a healthy way, right? Now, in this world, who knows what's going to happen? He's feeling that trauma. He's thinking about that, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. He could take some extreme measures. We don't know. We'll see. But in our life, if we look at the news reports and we see certain things happening around the globe, I'm not going to talk specifically what they are, but you see the news, you see things happening in the United States specifically. Certain events happen where they're just tragic events. And I'm sure a lot of it is because there's a lot of trauma there, right? And in that moment, that space, that place, he acted on the trauma because the person had no coping mechanisms, how to deal and handle trauma in a healthy way. And I'll tell you what, the mind can be an interesting place. And the mind can conjure and create all these things, some true, some not true, to put you in certain emotional spaces, places, to feel certain types of way. And we saw that illustrated in the show there. He's driving on the road, it just pops in his mind. He's thinking about it, and you can see the sadness. I think he might have been teared up. I think he's feeling from that. And sometimes kind of thought, have you to act rage or just whatever. In this past week, like I said, I was feeling a certain way. And I did skew to slightly more anger vibe. Not too much, just slightly, a little bit. For me, at least, because I'm a little chill dude for the most part. But I just participated in my healthy things I do to relax and de-stress. And that was good, right? That's all I had to do. So over the years, I have developed routines and things to do to go ahead and deal with stress and traumas in a healthy way. And so if you're watching this show, you probably see and say, yeah, I've been there. Maybe you're young and you don't have it, but you still might. But if you listen, probably you've experienced some kind of trauma, some of it that comes to your mind, and you just get a certain way about it. So what I take away from the show is that basically I think we should all search to find healthy coping mechanisms that's going to help us deal with stress and just deal with things that come to our mind, that are trauma from the past. Now, one of mine that helps me quite a bit is a heavy bag, a punching bag, which I've talked about in this podcast many times, going way back to 2014. That basically the heavy bag punching bag has enabled me to take out any kind of stress on the bag in a healthy way. All you do is punch a punch bag, right? Because sometimes you just gotta punch a punch bag. And I do meditation as well, and also do word searches now as well, which just helps. And I listen to calming music. There's a variety of things I can use to go ahead and calm the mind and body down when we're getting a state of emotional stress or trauma comes up from back in the day. So I hope that Kevin in this show takes that route and does some healthy coping mechanisms. But they are in that world and you don't know what's going to happen. And he could take some extreme measures, but you never know. You never know. Just because you're in that world doesn't mean you act like that, right? There's probably some that wouldn't do that. And one additional thing I want to say as well is this kind of pivoted from what I just talked about. But overall, the last few episodes of watching this series, Harry DeZoza, which is played by Tom Hardy, lives in a world of violence, and his job is to solve problems. And for someone that solves problems, he rarely uses violence. It's like all these episodes, he rarely uses any violence. Now, occasionally, in extreme measures, he does have to pull the violence out. But most of the time, he's able to settle the situation without violence. And now here's the additional thing too. But I did notice that most of the time, he settles without violence with people that don't take part in violence. The only time that Harry seems to bring it out is when he enters a space where the person does play in violence. So if the guy plays the violence, he'll bring the violence out. But if he goes at people that don't really play in that, all you gotta do is say some words. He just tells them what he's gonna do, and they say, okay, bro, I'm good. Like most of the time, all Harry is doing is just telling him what he's gonna do. And he said, good. And I'll be honest, you came to me, I would do the same thing. I don't want that, bro. I'm good. I don't want none of that. I'm good. Harry just says, I don't want none of that. Good. Here, take whatever you need. I'm good. Because his character can bring the violence extremely. It almost seems like he chooses that path. Because, okay, this could sound crazy to say, but he seems like maybe a misguided youth who was good at heart and maybe got caught in some circumstances where he just had no choice maybe, and he got thrust into a life that maybe he didn't want to live. I just got the vibe that, like I said a couple episodes ago, he'd be skilled in other worlds very well. And somehow he got sucked into this underworld and he's kind of maybe stuck there, you know what I mean? But maybe someone helped him or saved him or something and brought him into that, and he's got a trap now. But he seems, from the way he acts, he's an honorable, good dude. I know it doesn't really make sense because he's in a world where he plays in, but in that world, he seems to be one of the more honorable guys. So Harry's been offered to sleep with Kevin's wife multiple times. This is his homeboy. He won't do it. She's offered himself. She won't do it because he's a stand-up guy, right? You know, even if it wasn't his boy, I think he just wouldn't do it in general because he's a married woman and has kids, right? He just don't go there, right? You have to respect him. I won't cheat on my lady. He never uses violence unless he has to use violence. Honestly, he's pretty honorable for being in that world, I must say. And it should be interesting to see more backstory if they're going to do that. If somehow he was just kind of like thrust in the world and he really had no choice. That's very possible. But he seems like a good dude, which is crazy to say. And Tom Hardy plays the role so well. In anything he's in, he's phenomenal. He's one of my favorite actors, I have to say. He's a great dude. Because he was in Star Trek, of course. Yes, if you've not seen MobLand, check it out. Let it be a lesson. Learn from it. Don't learn the wrong lessons. Learn that, bro. You don't want no part of that world. I'm just saying. Try not to be in that world. I think a lot of people in that world don't want to be in it anyway, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's some, but I'm sure a lot don't want to. It's just the circumstances. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen MobLand, I highly recommend you check it out. It's over at Paramount Plus. Check it out. Good show. I think you'll enjoy it. Great performances from some great actors. Check it out. And this concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see you. We're all proud of making little mistakes. It gives us the feeling we don't make any big ones. Andrew A. Rooney. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.